Yeah, looking down.
I'm always learning from who I'm working with, and that's the fun of it. Like with Flying Colors, it's better to have less stuff that you've really sussed out. You know, maybe just have a germ kernel thing. It seems like it's more acceptable, I guess might be the word. I don't know. It just goes down better. And a lot of collaborations are like that. You know, you kind of learn as you go what works and what doesn't work, and it's navigating the waters of personalities and things. Even, you know, getting tracks from people, I'd much rather have them come to the studio. Because then if something maybe isn't working, or maybe I thought something was good, or maybe they have an idea, you know, you can just kick things around. It's just much more collaborative, and I think the benefits of that are, you know, boundless. Discovery is what it's all about. It's like you'll have a sense of what a piece is, you know, what a piece of music wants to be. And then you set out to discover it, whether it's a 3-minute pop song, or a folk song, or a worship song, or an epic, you know, a progressive rock epic, or a musical, or whatever kind of piece of music you're working on. It's all about discovering what it's supposed to be somehow. And I generally have a feeling of, oh yeah, that's the right thing. And sometimes it's the last thing that I'll come up with. I remember when we were working on the recent Transatlantic album in Sweden, I was just waking up at 3 a.m. quite often with a lot of ideas. And I had this idea, I felt like we needed some choruses. We had a lot of good music and a lot of good melodies and verses, but I felt like we needed some choruses, you know. And so I started toying around with this chorus, and I thought I had it. And then at the very end, about 4 a.m, after about an hour, you know, my wife's sleeping, and I'm trying to play really quietly, and like, just enough to kind of put something down that would make some kind of sense. At the very end, and sometimes you get that's really it. Scrap all that other stuff. Let's just do that. Sometimes it's the bit that you do at the end. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh yeah, or sometimes you don't even realize it. You'll give the whole thing to your team, and they'll say that bit right there. That's the part that we really want to, and that will become something maybe that you'll do in a million different ways on a concept album. The Beach Boys harmonies on Love Letter, you know, I had the idea for the alternate line first. I think even in the scratch tracks from Steve's house, like, you know, Casey was going singing the main melody, and I was going da 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 da. So I knew about that, and the rest was just, you know, kind of stacking bop, bop, bops, you know, and stuff. So, I mean, it takes some time because I was doing 3 tracks of every part. And then Mike replaced some and Casey replaced some, but a lot of times in the groups I'm in, I don't know how it happened that way, but I wind up being the vocal template sort of guy. And then I'll kind of figure out what I think they should be, and generally guys will go in and kind of replace things with their voices, which makes it sound like a band, which is great. I haven't had many dry periods, but honestly. I've had just different periods, you know, periods when, yeah, I just keep hearing this stuff that, I don't know how I can use it. You know, sometimes I have periods where I don't know, like after Christmas last year, I wrote these 4 Christmas songs. One of them should be like it should be done by Taylor Swift or something. You know, what am I going to do with that? So, but I try to be a good steward of whatever is coming to me, so I lay it down as best I can. I still haven't gotten a female vocal on that, but so I have odd periods where I, kind of, I don't know, I had this period where I was coming up with all this pop real pop stuff, like stuff that Usher maybe should have done or something, in my mind, you know. You might listen to it and go, not at all, but yeah. So it isn't always the same kind of thing, but I haven't had an experience where, like, wow, I just really need stuff to come and nothing's coming. I discover new things when I realize that I've been playing a song wrong my whole life, and somebody like Paul Gilbert will say, hey, you know, it's a B minor. It's a B minor? And, you know, some old Beatles song I've been playing my whole life, I've been playing the wrong chord. So that, I don't know, that's interesting. But, you know, that was the foundation originally. Me and my brothers would sort of challenge each other. Who can figure out this song? Because you couldn't count on any kind of written music in those days. There was nothing, you know, no internet, and the music books at the store in the shops were generally really wrong. And so you just had to figure it all out. And so the challenge was who can figure it out the fastest, you know, who has, and that, I still think that's a great way for young people to learn music theory, is just start figuring out the chords to all your favorite songs, and then you'll start to hear them, you know, and it's just sort of a natural thing then to understand, oh, that's the 3 minor, that's the 6 minor. So, you know, when I started to get exposed to the Nashville number system, it was like, you know, it's really easy for me because I understand intervals and all of that. And yeah, but it was just a natural process. I didn't take any classes. Yeah, it was kind of part of the original concept, was put together a band that could cross over, right? You know, that would have, I remember when we were looking at different singers, and we had different, you know, there was a real rock guy, real high singer, you know, real raspy guy, and then there was Casey, who, I didn't know Casey, so to me, he was the Coldplay guy. That's what I called him. I remember kicking around with my wife, I was like, yeah, Mike wants to go with the Coldplay guy. And I really like him, but I don't know, I had this idea of getting somebody who had a super high range, and I could sing, I could be the Lennon a little bit to his McCartney kind of thing. That was what I had in my head. And the more we looked at it, we thought, oh yeah, we gotta go with the Coldplay guy, he's so great. And so Flying Colors just developed really naturally. You know, I don't, you know, it's funny, you have these ideas, but then when you get in the room to write, it's all just like, hey, what comes? What's there? And I think it was a really natural process, even though does that make any sense? Even though we did have that sort of in the, I don't know, maybe in the unwritten mission statement, at least unwritten by any of us. It's still, when we got together, it was all just about the music and creating what we felt to create. Oh, quite a bit. You know, not nearly as much as like Steve and Dave are constantly practicing. They're down there practicing. How you know they're around is you hear the sound of, you know, electric guitar playing without an amp. In the clacking of the strings, you know, they're constantly practicing. I spent, well, you know, of course we had played all this material quite a bit in September and October. So I really just needed a brushing up. So I didn't spend very much time for this particular run. In fact, I just brought a keyboard on the plane with me and just like kind of refreshing. And then when I get to sound check, I'm refreshing because I had it all programmed. But the initial thing, oh, I don't know, it might be 3 or 4 days. Getting all the keyboards programmed and practicing and trying to get all the words in my mouth and all that. You have to get the stuff in your hands and in your mouth so that when you're on Cruise to the Edge and you've left your badge on and the plastic, the wind is so bad that it's closed your laptop, which doesn't just reboot, you have to reboot the whole thing to get the music to work. But the plastic badge thing is whipping you in the eye while the gig's starting, right? While you have to start singing. You know, you have to know the stuff well enough that when all that's going on, it still comes out. And it doesn't always work. But audiences are very merciful. I've got some singer-songwriter stuff. I'm taking a little bit of a different approach. I'm just kind of doing things as they come to me. I'm trying to keep it fresher. I want to get through the backlog of stuff that's behind me and look out to what's next. I may do a singer-songwriter album. I might do an album called Living Room. Kind of like a Life and Times. I've got a lot of Life and Times-ish songs, and I've recorded several of them. So I'm just running out of time. It's like I'm looking at my schedule and when am I gonna do that? But I love doing it. I've been playing all the drums on some of the stuff too, and just really getting into it. And so I'm artistically very, very, very happy.